Bungie dropped some info about the Marathon Alpha that starts on April 23rd, so let's get into it. Let's go. All right, here we are, posted at 2:26 CST today. Marathon closed alpha update. Now, if you've already read through this and you're taking part of the Marathon official Discord, I'm just going to go through this quickly. I'm not going to act like this is the most of the video. I actually just want to make a point about this and some of their biggest information that has changed, that being the dropping of the NDA. But let's just get to it. What's in the alpha and what's not, and dropping the NDA. We'd like to start this update with a big thank you to everyone who's joined us in the Marathon community and signed up for the alpha since our reveal showcase last weekend. As developers, we believe in community feedback, and dialogue is essential to make the best version of Marathon. Up until now, this feedback has come from closed playtesting. In the spirit of building towards the future, we've decided to remove the NDA from our closed alpha. Everyone can share their thoughts, feedback, footage, including streaming, starting on April 23rd. So the alpha starts on the 23rd, and they're allowing literally everyone, no matter who you are, if you got into the closed alpha, if you got your key, you can stream, you can make videos, you can talk about literally everything that you see in that game. This is something I really wanted to talk about on this video because this is something that has been a huge criticism about the footage we saw so far. It's been very limited. It was captured by Bungie. It was given to the creators after the fact, and the creators that did have access to those private tests actually didn't get to capture all of their own footage. It was something that Bungie captured. Being that they were at the studio, it kind of made sense, but it sort of left a little bit of wonder on the table, right? We were all kind of watching this gameplay thinking it looks a little bit generic. It doesn't look like it has a real identity. It just looked like another extraction shooter. Well, now anyone who gets into the alpha can literally capture and stream all of it, which means we get to see it. And this is the biggest thing. Whether I get an alpha code or not, I get to see what is going on with the game in this state. But we need to really pay attention to this, because this is where I think there's a lot of danger and a lot of risk for Bungie. They must be very secure with what this alpha is. And because they've seen all of the feedback over the last week, once they revealed their gameplay, it's all been sort of negative. And a lot of people were thinking there's just not enough there to warrant the price tag of the game, which, by the way, they still haven't confirmed. So this is a huge power move by Bungie. This is a huge moment of confidence for this game. They are confident that if we play this alpha and we get to see everything that's in it, we're going to change our minds. Now, I'm not saying I'm negative towards the game. In fact, I'm a fairly optimistic channel. I'm a fairly optimistic person, and I've kind of been waiting to see more of what the game is before, making judgments on it. That being said, this is going to help us get closer, but I say this is a risk because it could really backfire on Bungie. If this alpha doesn't have enough content in it, it's going to get worse. The feedback will get worse. People are going to hammer this game even more, thinking it's not very good or it doesn't have everything in it. But the reality is they're saying right here, this is how we define the alpha. This is a true closed technical test of Marathon. What that means is you'll be playing an incomplete version of the game. Our primary goal is to test two things: technical capabilities and our moment-to-moment gameplay loop. We plan to break stuff. Alpha is a curated, limited slice of systems and content. We welcome feedback across the board, but the areas that they're most keen on hearing the thoughts on are the weapons and gunplay, the maps plural, which means we'll get to play multiple maps, the survival gameplay, runners, including the kits, and the build crafting, early game progression, including factions, contracts, and faction upgrades, PvP engagements, and PvE engagements. So they're looking for, basically, it's almost like a proof of concept for us. They want to know that what we're doing in there is fun. They want to know that the progression system has some progression to it. They want to know that we like the little bits of the game that we actually get to play. Now, and this is where I feel like the risk is, this is probably going to fall on deaf ears, and people are not going to read over this. They're going to read the first line in this note, and then that's it, which is that they're dropping the NDA and people can say whatever they want. But it's important to note this, and I'm going to stress this here. The alpha is not the complete game. It doesn't include the final visuals and the graphics, including animations and lighting. It doesn't have full or polished UI. It doesn't have all the runners. It doesn't have all the zones, including the Marathon ship, which, by the way, is now confirmed. It doesn't have the pinnacle or end game content. Another one, which is great to hear that they actually have a plan for pinnacle content or end game content. It doesn't have all the weapons or the items or the consumables or even the implants, cores, or mods. It doesn't have everything in there. It just has some stuff. It doesn't have all the factions or all of the upgrades. It doesn't have any of the long-term progression or systems, and it doesn't have the complete narrative and storytelling systems and final shipping content. It doesn't have ranked play, and it doesn't have the final balances for all of the weapons and the runners. So honestly, this to me seems like a bad idea. I am worried about this. I think the community is going to turn even harder on this game because they're not getting the full experience. There are certain things that I think once the game is in a beta state and safe to be able to be played by a large portion of players, I think then we will see what this game is about, because I think there's this long tail that they have planned for the game and they're not allowing anyone to experience it. So what we are going to experience is going to be a generic extraction shooter experience, just Bungified, if that makes sense. So I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm nervous about what the feedback is going to be after the alpha stops or during the alpha. But on the other hand, I'm super excited to be able to see everything. Like, I don't want this sort of rundown, like chopped together, having to look at like all these different streams to figure out and piece together information. I just want to see it all. So my fingers are crossed that I get a code for the alpha, because I really want to be able to get in there and look at the runners and then give really good detailed feedback to Bungie. I'm excited at the chance to do this, but I'm hoping that I get that code. So anyways, guys, that is honestly the newest, latest information regarding Marathon. It starts next week on the 23rd. That's Wednesday, I believe. And you guys should definitely keep your eyes out, because there's going to be a lot more stuff to come. All right, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you found some value in this, please consider subscribing, because it helps me out a lot. I'm definitely trying to get this thing up and running. So any help is appreciated. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.